Hello, everyone. Mike Fuson here with another episode of Slaying Dragons. I'm joined by Paul over in the UK from Halo ITSM. Paul, how are you doing today?
Hello, Mike. I'm doing very well. Great to hook up with you again.
Yes, and we've been doing a series on the Halo way, and there was a big announcement this week. Tell us about
There,
this big announcement, Paul.
yeah, well, there's actually a couple of big announcements, but I guess the one you're probably referring to is the Formula One partnership. So on Tuesday, we did announce that we've partnered up with McLaren, which has one of the most established Formula One teams with a tremendous heritage, and in terms of the British engineering and performance parallels you can draw with Halo, I think it just seemed a very good fit. And it's great to be involved and to help them with the service management within the McLaren Racing organization. I mean, it is a huge. You might just think that there's a couple of cars go around a track and there's a few mechanics in the garage and there's not a lot of else that goes on behind the scenes. But believe me, from seeing the factory and I've met a lot of the people now involved. It's an absolute machine in terms of the number of people involved in the operation and the communication channels and all the rest of it. So they certainly do need um, enterprise apps to help them work. I think they go over 1,000 staff just in the racing side. But then there's other bits and pieces to McLaren as well. We're involved in fact, it was the applied side, so the research and development technology division. I think some of their software is actually used by all the teams in F1, so it's cool to be involved with them as well. But yeah, we're getting involved in service management across McLaren. So every tiny bit of efficiency we can give them in the factory allows them to have a little bit more time to focus on the actual car itself, which can indirectly translate to milliseconds on the track. So that's is really exciting for us.
Yeah, and I think as you highlighted, um, Halo is one of the best performing products in the ITSM space, as far as
Yeah,
efficiency and speed and everything else. And so there's those parallels that you can draw to F1.
yeah,
And
100%. We were very much late to the party. I think I touched on this in an earlier episode, but it was a blessing in disguise, really, because we, back in 2017, 2018, that was when we were looking at, right, what are the best technologies? How are we going to, we'd figured out exactly what the customer wants in terms of a platform to manage the services. Um, but we had a very old old technologies we were using, and it needed to be completely rewritten from the ground up. And that's what we did about 5 years ago. And that's led to kind of the explosion in growth that we have in 2023. So now we are probably about 7 to 10 years ahead of the competition in terms of, yeah, they're all using technologies which are based, yeah, they came about 7 to 10 years before the technologies that we chose, which has allowed us to have one of the fastest performing front ends and the most intuitive kind of configuration area, which is great. That's what people want. It allows them to have a bit more control, and it means that you don't need to embark on lengthy consultancy projects every time you want to introduce a slight, I don't know, a new process or a different workflow. It's just so easy with Halo because we're using all that React-based technologies.
now we were kind of chatting about this before we got to our recording, but how this McLaren deal came about really highlights the Halo way, as you've talked about in previous episodes. The idea is for things to be simple, and for decisions to be able to be made quickly. So you said
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a story that goes with that.
yeah, it's interesting. So obviously it's great to be helping the team, but it's also great from our point of view in terms of, I don't know. It's sometimes it just takes well, it either takes time or you need to know people, but it's about elevating the brand. So it's there's we're now competing for the emerging enterprise market, and we really are probably the number one option now for especially people on cost optimization strategies. And we want to make people realize that we really do work well alongside the likes of Salesforce, Workday, Splunk, all these tools that they're also McLaren partners, and it will be great to get to know these guys a lot more. And we already have integrations with some of them anyway, very tight integrations, but we do want to keep on making improvements and to allow enterprises to have a complete set of really tightly integrated apps. So from our point of view, it's great to allow us to have a bit more elevation into that space, a bit more awareness, because there still is in the enterprise segment, probably most people still or didn't know who we were a year ago, and now it's about that demand generation side and just that exposure. So it's great for that. In terms of how the actual partnership came about, so we were looking at many different options. We knew we needed to get some exposure, but we were looking at Premier League. There's all sorts of different options. Thing with F1, it's global. Our market is global, so straight away it is a good fit there. The whole technology side, I mean, anyone into tech, so yeah, your C-level CIOs, people like that, they're generally, I don't know, it's the kind of thing they'll watch with their kids, so they're into technology, so it's a good fit for the actual audience itself. And I think with McLaren it did, because we requested proposals from I think virtually every team on the grid, but we already had a relationship with, we're already helping McLaren, and it just seemed like it would be. I mean, they've been brilliant, to be fair. They've totally surpassed our expectations and this is after signing stage, so it's still it's not just a case of them treating us well till we sign and then that's it. They very much take care of you afterwards as well, and they're doing an amazing job. So we're very pleased with the choice we made. But you said about the speed at which it happened, and it comes back to just us being totally privately owned. Just the decisions all get made very quickly internally. If something makes sense, it just happens. And genuinely, it probably was. I think you might have seen something on social media recently where somebody commented that there was literally a conversation over a beer or two, maybe a couple of years ago, when we begun to sort of explore this. And next thing you know, we've signed up on probably the largest ITSM partnership in history, specifically an ITSM there. It is very much the Halo way. If something makes sense, we will just make it happen. And the interesting bit about this, I was talking to somebody within F1, and they said it's very much I think it was the second time they'd known it to happen in 9 years, where we approached the F1 team, because it seemed to be a bit more of a luxury thing, where it's usually the other way around, where it's the F1 team's doing all the outreach and they're trying to identify the potential partners. And because it's, as you'll all know, it's by no means a cheap exercise. It's probably one of the most expensive forms of exposure that you can pay for. So I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying before that, Mike?
All right, so you were talking a little bit. You're talking about it's an exciting
Yeah,
thing,
that's it. Yeah,
and
sorry.
so what we'll do is let's do we'll do a little edit here. So we'll go
Okay.
3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and start back with your thought. So 3, 2, 1.
So it's twice in 9 years that we were told that somebody had actually approached the F1 team, which I thought was unbelievable. And it just again just shows how we're different. And we know that. We get told this all the time, that we just go about business differently, and it's a huge investment, but it's a great two-way partnership that we're building, and it makes sense. So why not? most companies would probably ramp up in a much more slowly. I don't know, just maybe try a national racing series. I don't know, but they wouldn't certainly go straight in for a huge Formula One partnership, biggest in the industry ever. So yeah, that's very much the Halo way, I think, to do it like that.
Well, yeah, it certainly made a splash, and it's an exciting thing, and I think it highlights also the Halo ways, which is it's about fun and just being cool. Um, I'm not a huge F1 follower myself, but when we got kind of the pre-inkling of what was coming, I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And
Yeah.
I know, social media engagement that we've seen, a lot of folks think it's pretty cool.
And the
Um,
thing with
it's just a
McLaren as
neat thing.
well is they're involved in all the different racing series. So Indy, for example, very popular over in the States, and it's yeah, it's nice to be involved in a team that's not just in Formula One. Maybe one
Well,
day you'll see.
and then, but it all ties back to home, right?
Yeah,
British company working with a
British
British
heritage.
company. It's all about speed for both of you guys. It's all about the next generation of technology, pushing the technology as
Hmm.
far as it can go. So many cool things. But to me, it really highlighted the Halo way because I know for most organizations, as you said, they might start small and then there's committees and all sorts of things. And as we've seen with you guys in interacting with the customers, if something makes sense, let's not, you know, take 12 months to have 272 conversations about it. Let's figure
Yeah,
out what makes sense and let's do it.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah, true. And the other thing on the twice in 9 years, the feedback I gave to pretty much all the F1 teams was that, guys, do you know how hard it is to actually get in touch with someone and let them know that you're interested in a partnership? And they're like, oh, why is it hard? Can you not just go to like our contact page and contact us? And like, no, you don't have a forum. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, that's probably because we'll get loads of emails with, I don't know, just irrelevant stuff, and and then that was when it transpired that it's, yeah, do you know what, you're really unusual because we get very little inbound, and yeah, it was really interesting. But so that was a big announcement. But Mike, let me just mention that in many ways we had an even bigger announcement on the same day, and I think it was probably deliberately on the same day because we wanted, I don't know, you kind of, when you have big money partnerships, often you can. The first question I had a question actually the other day. Someone said, "Oh, have you recently taken on external investment? Things seem to be going really well." And they just assume that this can't possibly just be organic growth and just internal success. I was like, no, no, this is just no, we're same people doing the same things. Been doing it a while now, but yeah, we're getting more and more success, and it is a slow process, but we're beginning to sort of have that exponential growth phase. And so the second announcement was our commitment to the 10-year plan. So we're now writing into contracts that for 10 years we're not going to be selling out to any competitors. So no mergers, acquisitions, not even any private equity deals. So the idea of having all the ownership or all the decision making and direction, strategic direction, it has to come from within the people who are working hands on with the customers, and that really is our secret sauce. That's what we're proud of, and that's what creates the magic that is in Halo. And that's, you can go to our website / the Halo Way, and you will be able to read all about it. So that commitment is almost more. I mean, that for us is the serious stuff. That's what it's all about. The F1 thing, yeah, great. It's about elevating our brand, getting the exposure, and it's really awesome to be working with McLaren and some of the things we're working with. But what I mean, you know what we're like. What we get really excited about is being able to commit to customers that we're you guys, so the partners especially, because there's so much disruption in this industry in particular, for you guys to know that you're going to be able to work with the same people is must be reassuring for you, and same with our clients and for the staff, like staff morale within the organization, for them to know that they're going to be able to carry on working at like same opportunities of what they've seen other people have, because there's absolutely no doubt that if we did sell out, then there'd be whole new strategic teams, executive layers, and all sorts, and it would be a very different environment for the staff. So it's great from their point of view as well.
Well, and I agree. It's great for the customers, and you and I have talked about this privately before. Having been myself in this space for 25 years, um, the mergers and the changes, and for the customer, they don't know how long they have with whatever product they're running before this product may get gobbled up, or there's some sort of new strategic direction, or you know everything takes a 180. There's just so much that's gone on over the last, especially 10 years, in this space, and to know that the company you've partnered with, because we really look at that, Halo and Excalibur really see our customers as our partner, in making them successful. They know for at least 10 years, that
Mhm.
there's not going to be some sort of sudden, oh my gosh, we've, got this new thing and the price is quintupled, and, I've got to make strategic decisions for my organizations over the next year in something that's central to driving our IT department's success.
Mhm.
They know they can count on, and have a long timeline. And it wouldn't shock me, with what we've seen with the rate of growth and the excitement that people have for the Halo product, that 10 years becomes longer than 10 years because,
Yeah, I mean it's a rolling 10 years actually, so it's a rolling 10 year period. I mean we'll certainly give you plenty of notice, but I mean we're all still relatively young. That's the thing. I think the median age in Halo is crazy. It's like 23 point something. It's obviously I'm one of the oldest now, and it's 42, but I'm still got plenty of energy left in me, and passion and excitement, and yeah, we've got no plans to go anywhere.
so exciting.
We're all having so much fun.
Absolutely. It's been a big week, for you guys there at Halo. Big week for us as a partner at Excalibur. Um, these are all very, very exciting things, and it just highlights, as we've talked about, what is the Halo way. Um, uh, it's all about and always about how you can bring value, to the customers. And I have to imagine so many customers out there that were early adopters,
Mm.
or current adopters, are going, wow, this just gets better.
I was
Um,
talking to one a couple of weeks ago, just on LinkedIn, I think it was, and it was actually my first ever on-site customer visit back in 2006. They're still a customer, same guys, still same organization. I think they've moved office a couple of times, but it's yeah, it's just awesome to have these kind of stories to tell, I think.
we're going to have so many more stories to tell in the years to come. Paul, thank you so much for joining me, for this episode. I look forward to getting together with you again and continuing to dig into what is the Halo way.
As always, thank you, Mike.
All right, take care, everyone. Subscribe and watch for another episode where we hear from the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Hamilton, on what is the Halo way. See you all soon.